Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice. Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax break.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice.
This is the sound of your ride home with Dad after he caught you vaping. Awkward, isn't it? Most vapes contain seriously addictive levels of nicotine and disappointment. Know the real cost of vapes. Brought to you by the FDA.
ABC Wednesdays.
Y'all complain all day. We want books. We want paper towels in the classroom. Bet you want raises, too.
I'm still waiting on the paper towels.
Abbott Elementary returns with a new season.
We asked the district for more after-school programs. They gave us $50 for class pets instead.
Critics cheer. Abbott Elementary continues to be one of the funniest and most beloved shows on TV.
What y'all doing out there?
Taking bribes?
Proud of y'all.
Abbott Elementary, Wednesdays, 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Now, a little inside baseball when it comes to the podcast that you are listening to. When we are picking topics to cover for It's Not That Bad, the main show on this channel, we limit ourselves to only movies. We don't touch TV shows, which is probably a good thing because then we would have had to cover Inhumans by now. But still, we stay away from TV shows. And even on here, Keep Watch Pass, we tend to stay away from TV shows as far as topics goes. But we found a way around that because today we're talking about movies based on TV shows. So they're still movies, but they came from TV originally. And here to join me is my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you?
I am doing really well. So obviously the topic of today is fairly cut, dry, simple movies based on TV shows. Did you, however, have any criteria beyond the basic premise of the episode that you were using in order to make your picks?
Not particularly. I kind of, as soon as we pitched the title, I pretty much knew what I was going to pick.
I will admit, I did give myself a few rules to follow here. So let me explain, okay? So in picking my movies, I eliminated any TV shows that themselves were based on a toy line. So you could sit there and say, well, G.I. Joe was a TV show. Well, yes, it was. Yes, it was. But it was a toy line. The TV show came from the toy line. So the way I look at that is the movie was based on the toy line as opposed to the actual TV show itself. Which came first, chicken or the egg? Check who's smoking. That will answer your question. But I also limited myself to movies that had a theatrical release. So in the case of something like Dead Like Me, the TV show led to the movie, but the movie was only available on streaming.
They made a movie?
They did make a movie for Dead Like Me.
I am today years old finding that out.
But it did not have a cinematic release. So I ruled it out.
Same actors?
Same actors. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I know what we're watching tonight.
Right.
Clearly. So with that said, the two of us have made 3 picks each. A keep, a watch, and a pass. The keep is a film that we hold in absolute high regard. The watch is one that, even if it's on TV, we'll still watch it. And the pass is one that we would just turn off the TV itself because we don't want to. So, Carrie, I'm tossing the ball over to you. Movies based on TV shows, what's your keep film?
I'm going to break the internet with this one. I just know it. I am going to keep Dukes of Hazzard. Yes. With Jessica Simpson. You know what? I grew up watching the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not my choice, but my parents liked it, so it was always on TV. And I had the mini record, the little 35 of, or is it 45?
It was a 45.
It was a 45.
The big one was the 33. The small one was the 45.
I had a little 45 of the theme song and...
Just a good old boy.
Right? Waylon Jennings.
Never meaning no harm.
Theme song of the day. Dukes of Hazzard. You know what? Come on. Willie Nelson as the uncle, the moonshine making uncle.
Right, it's Uncle Jesse. Yeah.
Oh my God. Like, those guys, they understood the assignment and they played it well. Like,
I'll give you credit.
On.
I'll give this film credit that it knows exactly what it is doing. And that was a trend, right? Taking shows that at the time when they were on TV kind of took themselves a little seriously, even though Dukes of Hazzard wasn't necessarily serious. It was fun, but it was more of an action show as opposed to a comedy show. And then you take that property and then you make it into an out-and-out comedy, understanding what made the show popular to begin with and kind of turning that on its head. And having fun with it. They had fun with the IP. They knew exactly who to cast. You're right. Willie Nelson as Uncle Jesse, spot on. The fact that you have Linda Carter in there as well. You have freaking Wonder Woman in there, just adding a little bit of gravitas to it. Jessica Simpson. Say what you will about Jessica Simpson. There was not a single person in Hollywood more better suited for that role than her.
Oh, yeah. No, she was literally born to be Daisy Duke.
Right? I mean, she fit the shorts well. Let's put it that way, right? And I'm not talking from a physical standpoint. I'm talking about the persona, the accent, like just her on-screen presence alone. She knew exactly what she was doing. And even the song that she did with Willie Nelson, These Boots Are Made for Walking. Like, that's a fantastic cover of that song.
It really is. Oh, yeah. You know what? The movie is so enjoyable, especially, as I mentioned, like as a kid growing up, that was what was on our television on the weekends. And to see it on the big screen, and again, that they're having fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they made it fun. They weren't taking it too seriously, because how could you take it seriously, really? They're just good old boys. They don't mean no harm.
One of the things I liked about this film, though, is that it recognizes that it was made during a time when sensibilities were a little different. And having the Confederate flag on the roof of your car back then didn't really mean a thing. Right? Now, not a big, and they kind of made fun of that in the most perfect, balanced way possible. And that's taking an aspect of the show. Because really, if you took the Confederate flag off of the roof of the General Lee, then it's no longer the General Lee. So you get, it's one of those things where it's like, we kind of have to talk about the flag. And they did it in almost the perfect, untouchable, uncritiquable way that whoever wrote that scene, like, kudos. You handled that. There was no better way to handle that, because you had to have it and then you had to talk about it. And Dukes of Hazzard actually stuck the landing on that. So kudos to that one. Not my pick, though.
Overnight, Dunkin's pumpkin spice coffee has sent folks into a cozy craze. I'm Lauren LaTulip, reporting live from home in my hand-knit turtleneck that my Nana made me. Cinnamony.
The home with Dunkin' is where you want to be. Curious about lip filler? Whether you want a subtle pout or bold plump, Juvederm lip fillers can give you a customized lip look. Juvederm Volbella XC and Juvederm Ultra XC can last up to a full year with optimal treatment, giving your lips added volume for smooth, natural-looking and long-lasting results. Whether you're concerned about your thin lips or simply want fuller lips, ask about Juvederm lip fillers at your next appointment with your licensed specialist. And download the Ally app, that's ALLE, the official loyalty program of Juvederm, to save on treatments. For important safety information and to find a licensed specialist, visit Juvederm.com. That's JUVEDERM.com. Not for people with severe allergic reactions, allergies to lidocaine, or the proteins used in Juvederm. Common side effects include injection site redness, swelling, pain, tenderness, firmness, lumps, bumps, bruising, discoloration, or itching. There's a risk of unintentional injection into a blood vessel, which can cause vision abnormalities, blindness, stroke, temporary scabs, or scarring. Talk to a licensed specialist to find out if it's right for you.
Oh, it's such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Shop Blinds.com right now and get up to 45% off select styles. Rules and restrictions may apply.
My pick features quite the trio. Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, and Lucy Liu. I'm going with the first Charlie's Angels film. Not the eventual other one with Kirsten Stewart.
Not the one with Sam Rockwell.
This is the one with Sam Rockwell.
I thought he was in the second one.
No. He's in the first one.
I'm confusing them
in
then.
a very Sam Rockwell role, complete with dance moves. Aside from the fact that it does exactly what the Dukes of Hazzard does, it takes what made Charlie's Angels a good TV show and then expanded on it and made it fun and funny, but also fun. Getting McGee to direct this film, really at the height of his music video prowess, was a masterstroke, because McGee actually handled this and made it a visual spectacle as well. The pacing of this film was fantastic. They took Crispin Glover and they made him creepy AF. They took George McFly and made him creepy AF, and it worked. It worked. I even didn't mind the Tom Green cameo in this, because at the time, he and Drew Barrymore were together. This had so much fun to it. And I know Full Throttle, the sequel to it, didn't get the flowers that this one got, but I would even put Full Throttle on the list. Maybe as my watch. It's not my watch, because I like to keep myself to at least only one film from a franchise. But that first Charlie's Angels film exploded on the screen in more ways than one. It was so much fun. For my watch film, I'm going back a little bit. I'm going back a couple decades to the 80s. And Dragnet. I love Dragnet.
Nice.
Dan Aykroyd, a young Tom Hanks, still early in his career, still doing lots of comedies. You had Alexandra Paul, best known probably from Baywatch, as the Virgin Connie Swale. You also had Christopher Plummer and Dabney Coleman as the bad guys. And you had Harry Morgan as Captain Gannon. Captain Gannon. Because in the original Dragnet TV series, Harry Morgan was Officer Gannon. So the fact that you actually have someone from the original TV show promoted to captain in the movie anchors it in a way that you really that it needed. Much in the same way that Charlie's Angels had the same voice of Bosley on Charlie on the intercom. Now you've got Harry Morgan continuing the role in Dragnet, but just promoted to captain. And Dan Aykroyd's like straight monotone characterization of Joe Friday and Tom Hanks as Pep Strebeck. There's so much fun about this film, and the humor in it. It's so, I don't even know how to describe it because the lines that Dan Aykroyd hits, they're so dry as far as the comedy goes, but they're funny as hell. Like, and I know Dragnet qualifies for It's Not That Bad, and it shouldn't. It should not. Just do yourself a favor, dear listeners. Watch the film. Definitely watch the film. Skip the end credits music. City of Crime. Just skip. Like, you know how sometimes when you get to the credits and you just hit stop and you rewind, you should rewind. Be kind, rewind. Just stop. Just hit stop on the end credits. I'm saving you from that end credit music. You're welcome. Carrie, over to you. What's your watch film?
I'm watching Sex and the City.
Really?
The movie. Yeah. You know what? Okay. Was I a big fan of the TV series? If it was on, maybe I'd watch it. But there's something about the movie that brought the girls together, gave like light to the romance between Carrie Bradshaw and Mr. Big, right? Like it was, I think it was really well done. And it had that magic that the TV series had, it needed to see that many seasons. And how many? There was like
There was
several.
enough. There was enough.
But it did, and it kept the viewer interested for the 2 hours of the movie. So I think they did it well.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this, okay? Because I don't disagree that the TV show wasn't good. Like, it was a good TV show, and the writing in it worked very well for that half-hour format. Do you think that we really needed a Sex in the City movie, let alone two? But do you think we really needed one?
But I think that's the point, is that it didn't seem like a drawn-out, elongated episode. There was enough going on that made it interesting and made it completely watchable.
I know. And again, maybe it's a girl-guy thing. I don't think it needed a film. Maybe a short series to, one last season to wrap things up kind of thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm just, maybe I'm just sitting there looking at it from the male point of view. But the show was good. Don't get me wrong. The show was good. The show was definitely like a moment in HBO history. The show kind of defined that era. And you think about the big HBO shows, you had Sex and the City kind of around the same time as Sopranos as well, as I recall. And that was kind of like that thriving HBO era, which then led into Game of Thrones. But the thing is, Sex and the City is really, I think, the only big HBO property to get that cinematic treatment after the show was done. I know there was talk of doing a Sopranos film. Meh.
I don't think. I mean, they certainly didn't end it so that a movie was warranted.
No,
I mean,
they just cut to black.
There's really no more story to be told.
No,
with The Sopranos, and there's the thing is, some TV series just seem like it overstays its welcome by one or two different seasons, and
but then the show came back with And Just Like That,
which I gotta admit, I have to admit, the first episode had me sobbing like a little baby.
Really?
Like, oh my God. But I didn't see it through after the first episode. It came back at you hard and fast and tragic and sad and then kind of left you with, well, I don't really want to continue watching because it's just from here on in. I think they really did it a disservice with the comeback. And you have to watch the first episode to know what I'm talking about. But then it kind of went in a different direction, and it wasn't like you didn't have Samantha anymore.
No.
And it wasn't that same girl power, that group of girls, the dynamic of the 4 personalities, I think was really great. That's what people watched for. They wanted to see how these 4 girls get along because they're completely different types of people, but how they kind of work and complement each other.
No, the group dynamic of the characters, of the 4 of them, it made something special when it came to television. And I mean, you could make the argument for one movie. I definitely don't think a second one was warranted at all by any stretch of the imagination. But I'll give you your watch. I'll give you your watch.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're allowed to watch Sex in the City. It's okay. I'll watch it too.
My guilty pleasure.
Okay. But now we get to your pass.
Oh, here's where I definitely am going to break the internet by passing, I'm sorry, on the Simpsons movie.
Huh.
Yeah. You know what? I think there are some excellent Simpsons episodes, and then there's about maybe 6 seasons too many. And the movie just felt like it was about 45 minutes too much.
It's hard to take a TV show like that thrives in the 22 to 24 minute range and then to stretch it out to a story that doesn't feel like a couple of episodes and a side plot thrown in. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Simpsons movie is much better than some other comedic animated shows put to movie.
I'm looking at you, South Park.
No, hey! Don't be making fun of South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. But you think about it though, right? South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut is going to fall into a certain category of people who like extreme potty humor, and it's going to make them laugh. Simpsons was very much an episode unto itself. South Park was more like a musical at times.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not dissing it. That was not my past pick.
Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Oh, yeah.
Is fan-freaking-tastic, right? Because they were able to do... you think about it, right? Beavis and Butthead episode was 22 minutes, and about 15 minutes of that was taken up with music video. So you're only dealing with maybe 7 to 10 minutes of Beavis and Butthead show in an actual Beavis and Butthead episode, and they somehow made a fantastic movie. The Simpsons one, of those 3 properties, you're right. The Simpsons movie is the inferior of the 3. And I never thought I'd say that The Simpsons is inferior to freaking Beavis and Butthead, but yet here we are.
Yeah, it just, I don't know if it was, I want to blame the writing because I think that it was a great idea. I love the show. Again, not all of them.
No.
Not all the episodes, but there is enough brilliance in the writing.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie just felt too long.
It stayed too much to Simpsons formula to justify the hour and a half. Whereas South Park went in a slightly different direction. Beavis and Butthead went in a very different direction. Not so much with The Simpsons. And I can appreciate that. I can definitely appreciate that. You're going to hate my past film.
Uh-oh.
You might actually get up and walk away from the microphone.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
When I tell you that my past film is 21 Jump Street.
Aw.
I know you like that film.
Really?
Yeah.
Aw.
Now, let me explain. We talked a little bit about this with Dukes of Hazzard, taking a serious TV series-ish and turning it on its head and turning it into a comedy. Starsky and Hutch did the same thing.
Oh, that was a great movie.
That was a good one.
If you
right?
had picked that one, that's it. I'd be out of here.
Right? Do it. 21 Jump Street? Yeah. And maybe it's because I'm not the biggest Jonah Hill fan.
I can see that. And I didn't want to, I didn't want to pinpoint him, but I could see that.
But I mean, I also wasn't the biggest fan of the TV show either. So it stands to reason that I'm not going to lean towards the film adaptation if the TV show did nothing for me. Because, I watched The Dukes of Hazzard growing up as a kid, so I could easily, go along with that. Starsky and Hutch, I remember watching that occasionally. Something like The A-Team, which I know wasn't the greatest film, but I watched the shit out of that TV show, let me tell you. That was fantastic TV watching. 21 Jump Street. And I am surprised that we cannot talk about 21 Jump Street or 22 Jump Street on It's Not That Bad because neither qualify. That baffles me. How does Dragnet qualify for It's Not That Bad and not 21 Jump Street? I don't get it. It's not for me. If you like 21 Jump Street, dear listeners, all the power to you. Just don't be bringing that over here because I don't want to watch. I'll be in the corner watching Dukes of Hazzard or Charlie's Angels or Dragnet or TV seasons of Sex and the City. Maybe not the movie, but if you put the movie on, Carrie, then I will watch it because, I'm a sucker for you.
Aw.
All right. Please remind our listeners what your keep, watch, and pass picks are for movies based on TV shows.
My keep is The Dukes of Hazzard. My watch is Sex and the City, and I'm passing on the Simpsons movie.
All right. My keep is Charlie's Angels. My watch is Dragnet. And my pass is 21 Jump Street. Carrie, thank you so much for this. And dear listeners, you guys know the drill. If there was a topic that you want us to cover on Keep, Watch, Pass, or a movie that you want us to cover on It's Not That Bad, hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast or go to our website at notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you subscribe to the website because very soon we're going to be announcing what our movies of 2024 are for our end of the year grading on a curve. Oh, dear God. I'm just going to apologize right now, Carrie, because I've seen some of the movies on my list, and I'm so sorry in advance.
Oh, no.
Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Keep, Watch, Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.
The Kimi Kato Show, featured on Pantheon Podcasts.
The Kimi Kato Show is a weekly exploration of Japanese pop culture in all its facets. Kimi and Jeremiah, as hosts, delve into various aspects of Japanese culture, including music, food, fashion, and film, offering listeners a comprehensive and entertaining look at what makes Japanese pop culture unique and intriguing. It is your invitation to Japan.
Hey everybody, I'm Dan. I'm Doug. We're in the band Hoobastank.
Hi, I'm Takato Miyake, working for Suntory Global Spirits.
Hello, I'm Sincere from Ryusenkei.
Hello guys, this is Masata Kumi.
This is Chris Hart.
Hi, I am Sugizo. You are listening to Kimi Kato Show. Thank you.
Kimi Kato Show is brought to you by Evolve Entertainment Network, Pantheon Podcasts, and Radio Candy Media.